Sam here from Sheridan Computers. I'm doing this video to help people that are struggling with ScreenConnect. That mainly the on-premise version of ScreenConnect has gone through a few issues recently. ConnectWise have decided that they're not signing the installation files and people need to do it themselves. I've watched on Reddit, a few people have struggled with it, so I'm going to see if we can help you out. So let's get started.
Sheridan Computers, IT, Communications, Support.
So let's go back to April 24th, 2025. And there's a ScreenConnect security patch advisory. So in December 2024, Microsoft Threat Intelligence detected misuse of a publicly available ASP.NET machine keys to inject malicious code and deploy post-exploitation framework. Microsoft found that publicly accessible keys were being utilized to perform malicious actions on servers generally. It's important to note that these, to obtain these machine keys, you do need privileged access to the system. So you can't do it as a standard user. You need to be basically running as administrator. So they're taking proactive steps to mitigate any potential impact on partners regarding this identified ASP.NET weakness. In line with our commitment to secured by design, ConnectWise is releasing a patch to reduce the risk of view state abuse and further harden the attack surface. So that was the first thing. So there was a vulnerability in ScreenConnect, but it did require administrator access to the system that it was running on. And if an attacker has administrator access to a server ScreenConnect is running on, you've got bigger potential issues. So scrolling up a bit, we have another security advisory as of May the 28th. ConnectWise recently learned of a suspicious activity within our environment that we believe was tied to a sophisticated nation-state actor, which affected a very small number of ScreenConnect customers. We've launched an investigation with one of the leading forensics experts, Mandiant, and we've contacted all affected customers and are coordinating with law enforcement. As part of our work with Mandiant, we've implemented enhanced monitoring, hardening measures across our environment. We've not observed any further suspicious activities in customer instances, and the security of our services is paramount, and we are closely monitoring the situation and will share additional information as available. So which products were affected? At this time, the investigation indicates that the activity was isolated to ScreenConnect. And then again, boilerplate, we've not seen any suspicious ScreenConnect activity since releasing the patch on April 24th. What about on-premise ScreenConnect customers? Please see the April 24th security patch advisory below, which is what we've just covered. So yeah, that was an important update to ScreenConnect, but as I say, it did require administrator level access. Now, if we have a look at more recent events, code signing certificate rotation for ScreenConnect, ConnectWise Automate and RMM. And again, they go on to say the usual, the security of our partners and trust in our products are paramount to ConnectWise. We're updating the digital signing certificates used in ScreenConnect, ConnectWise Automate and ConnectWise RMM due to concerns raised by a third-party researcher about how ScreenConnect handled certain configuration data in early versions. So in addition to issuing new certificates, they're releasing an update to improve how this configuration data is managed in ScreenConnect. So if you're not familiar with ScreenConnect, it's a remote access solution. When you download it, you can select like which client and things like that it's going to be used for. And then they run it and it installs and gets marked against that client. And it's the way that ConnectWise is handling this that caused the issue. Basically, the certificate authority have decided to revoke the certificate. So this was announced on June the 9th, 2025. So you can see here, it says, we're required to rotate our certificates by Friday, June the 13th, 8 p.m. ET, June 14th, 12 a.m. UTC. ConnectWise received this extended deadline Monday evening. So they've rotated the certificate. So let's dive into this a little bit more. So on June the 25th, 2025, Bleeping Computer reported that hackers turned ScreenConnect into malware using authenticode stuffing. And this is where the certificate revocation came into things. And so let's just have a look at this. Threat actors are abusing ConnectWise ScreenConnect installer to build signed remote access malware by modifying hidden settings within the client's authenticode signature. ConnectWise ScreenConnect is a remote monitoring and management RMM software that allows IT admins and managed service providers to troubleshoot devices remotely. When a ScreenConnect installer is built, it can be customized to include the remote server the client needs to connect to, what text is shown in dialog boxes, and the logos that should be displayed. This configuration data is saved within the file's authenticode signature. Now, this is the reason for the revocation, as far as I'm aware. So this technique is called authenticode stuffing and allows for insertion of data into a certificate table while keeping the digital signature intact. Cybersecurity firm GData observed malicious ConnectWise binaries with identical hashes across all file sections except for the certificate table. The only difference was a modified certificate table containing new malicious configuration information while still allowing the file to remain signed. So you can see the importance of why these certificates were revoked. So GData says the first samples were found in bleeping computer forums where members reported being infected after falling for phishing attacks. Similar attacks were reported on Reddit. Now, it's not just ScreenConnect that's used in phishing attacks. AnyDesk, RustDesk, anything with a free trial or that you can run yourself is basically open to being abused by attackers. Here's an example of the phishing PDF. I mean, yeah, people should be trained not to click on silly shit. So the file called request for proposal.exe seen by bleeping computer is malicious ScreenConnect client. So there's a link to virus total. Configured to connect to the attacker's servers with the IP address. GData built a tool to extract and review the settings found in these campaigns, where the researchers found significant modifications such as changing the installer's title to Windows Update and replacing the background to show fake Windows Update, as shown below here. So essentially, the threat actors have converted legitimate ConnectWise ScreenConnect client into malware that allows them to stealthily gain access to infected devices. After contacting GData, ConnectWise revoked the certificate used in these binaries, and GData is now flagging these samples as win32.backdoor.evil.conway and win32.riskware.silent.conway, and these do cause the general standard ScreenConnect to be flagged on virus total. GData says they never received a reply from ConnectWise about this campaign on their report. And another campaign is also enterprise software, this time distributing Trojanized versions of Sonic Wall. So as I say, anything attackers can get their hand on, they basically will abuse. At this stage, for basically anyone self-hosting ScreenConnect, it became a nightmare with this certificate revocation, because one certificate gets revoked, it's not like it expires and it's got a timestamp on it and it'll continue. Once it's revoked, it starts getting flagged by antivirus software such as Sentinel-1. So Reddit's on fire at the moment. Go to ConnectWise University, you can find real-time updates. Ignore the fact that there hasn't been an update in 18 hours. Can the ConnectWise leadership team sound any more out of touch with reality? Okay, so what they basically ended up doing was trying to get an extension on the certificate revocation to give people a little bit more time. So the changes they made were the configuration will no longer be attached to the actual installer. It will live in a separate file. The timeline is 48 hours to hope they beat that through. So they was trying to get this done before the certificate expires and all that, to try and get an extension on the certificate. So go to ConnectWise University for real-time updates. No updates at this time. So this has just been a complete nightmare for everyone involved. And ConnectWise have said trying to be as transparent as they possibly can without sending out constant status alerts, drop suggestions, we're monitoring and applying feedback as they can. So Reddit's really been on fire about this. So what they did was, instead of downloading the exe file when you go to get support, when you go through the try and get real-time support through ScreenConnect, you used to just download an exe file which would run and get you one quite easily. And then because of this issue, what they did was it made it download a zip file instead on a version that they updated to. So when you downloaded the zip file, you basically had to talk through clients on how to extract the contents of the zip file and then click on the relevant file that they needed and run that. And in all fairness, sometimes With some clients and some people, it's just hard enough to get them to find the actual download file itself, never mind start extracting the contents of zip files. So on the certificate revocation, on the urgency and why you can see all the screaming and people just throwing mud at ConnectWise, this email was received on the 2nd of July 2025. Dear partner, following our communication yesterday, we're providing updated guidance and next steps for ScreenConnect on-premise partners regarding changes to certificate handling and installer customization. Why this change is required? To facilitate installer personalization, we've historically allowed partners to modify certain elements of ScreenConnect package, including branding, icons, and connection parameters. These capabilities were recently flagged by a security researcher. So not only now are they trying to deal with certificate revocation and the issues that the security researchers flagged, they've removed any branding and personalization from ScreenConnect. So you can't use your own icons or your own branding, and you can install multiple ScreenConnect clients on one machine. It's regular in IT support if multiple IT support companies are using ScreenConnect, and there's actually no way to tell the difference with them. But anyway, back to the urgency of the matter. So to close off this threat vector and better protect you and your customers, we've taken 2 key steps. We have removed all personalization capabilities from the installer. This prevents malicious actors from repurposing these features in deceptive ways. We've discontinued signing on-prem client installers with a shared ConnectWise certificate. So this is an important bit. So ConnectWise are no longer providing a signed installer. So if you try and download it, it's likely to get flagged by antivirus software, as I mentioned earlier. So they continue. Instead, each partner must now sign their own installer using a publicly trusted certificate. This improves security and ensures that the installer cannot be reused outside of your organization. So if you use ScreenConnect, you now have to sign it yourself in your company name, and you have to go away, buy a code signing certificate, and jump through the hoops of providing your identity and your company identity. And then once you get the certificate through, this is just for the on-premise installation. The cloud installation, ConnectWise is still handling the certificates. But for on-premise, you have to sign them yourself with your certificate in your company name. So if something goes wrong, your company can be contacted and put in front of the firing squad. So what do you need to do now? Download the new on-prem build. The updated version removes shared signing and disables the customization options. Apply your own certificate. Partners must now obtain and apply a publicly trusted certificate to sign guest clients. So note, most partners using HSM Managed Cert can complete this within 24 to 48 hours. Unsigned client certs may be flagged by endpoint protection, so antivirus, Sentinel-1, etc. And the 24 to 48 hours, it's kind of a bit ambitious because you have to, let's say, to these certificate authorities, once you buy the certificate, you then have to provide your company registration number and things like that. So I've helped you purchase a certificate. Visit the university page on self-signed certificate updates, which includes a list of public certificate authority options. So need more time. And again, people all over Reddit are saying, are they just trying to push people to the cloud here? So we're offering a 14-day temporary access to ScreenConnect Cloud to help maintain service continuity as you acquire and implement your certificate. Now, that's a pain in the ass itself, migrating all your clients over to the cloud. If you do that, you're probably going to stay there and they get the extra business from that, I guess. So if you prefer not to manage certificates, if managing certificates is not ideal for your environment, you can migrate ScreenConnect Cloud, where ConnectWise handles certificate signing on your behalf. And a discounted offer is available through July to support this transition. So if you already have an on-premise license, they'll refund part of the license for the missed months. And then they've got the support and resources. Live chat support is available for partners with active maintenance. You can visit the university resource page for facts, product updates, and implementation guides. And then they did a partner town hall on Wednesday, July the 2nd. So we recognize the time and the impact may be difficult. Please note we're required. These actions were required and not made lightly. They reflect our ongoing commitment. So you can see like how much time we didn't get to react to this. Fast forwarding to the 7th of July. So ScreenConnect, the ConnectWise, managed to get an extension to the 7th of July when the certificate was going to be revoked. So if you had any existing unattended access sessions, then because the certificate is revoked, that could cause a problem. So 25.4.259314 is out, showing the 7th of the 2nd, 2025. So this is the new date for the new ScreenConnect client. So has anyone had the cajoles to try it? I feel like I'm running 100,000 user environment with Palo Alto gear. Anyone know how this affects existing unattended access installations? We have a client with ScreenConnect on-prem server with thousands of connected devices, and they rarely use it for ad hoc support. Almost all access sessions. So the gist of it is, all unattended access sessions will have their code sign insert revoked, since ConnectWise signed the installers generically, effectively. New process means that the unattended access client installer will be signed by the company self-hosting that particular instance that generated the installer. So the client's relay server connection info will now be protected as part of the signed code. For existing clients, all agents generated on a self-hosted relay server prior to all this are about to have their certificates revoked by the certificate authority. The revoked cert will cause the client to be flagged and very possibly quarantined or deleted by many AV and EDR solutions. Now, I can confirm this, that Sentinel-1 certainly did. And just to finish the full process myself for on-prem, worth noting that it can take a couple of days to get a CS cert. That said, DigiCert got me an EVCS in an hour, and they were great to work with. Also, if you do use the Azure Key Vault guidance from ConnectWise, it's missing some info. You'll need to add the Key Vault crypto user and Key Vault certificate user in the app. So this has just been an ongoing nightmare for basically anyone that uses ScreenConnect. So as it stands at the moment, you're supposed to have updated to the 25.4.25.9313 or 9314. On Windows, when you installed 9314, it was showing up, downloaded, the file name said 9314, but the actual within ScreenConnect, it's showing up as 9313. The ScreenConnect team's working on a build to update the version numbers, I guess. So this has been a complete nightmare. So you know what Reddit's like, the wild west of the internet. Now, ConnectWise partners that use ScreenConnect have been fairly vocal, and many have expressed how unhappy they are about it. It's just one of those things, I guess. So this expiration deadline is insane and unworkable. The title says it all. The ConnectWise folks have lost their minds if they think this is a viable solution for any of us. Oh, and by the way, no one seems to be reachable to provide any further guidance. Many of us can't make your town hall meetings on such a short notice. And our strange decision from ConnectWise on that was not to record the town hall meetings, and they made a point of saying that they wouldn't be doing. You either attend them or you don't. And they've this guy that's posted this, who is it? I'm not even saying that. Has suggested some possible solutions. Remove the internal customization from the signed code and make it happen via an external config file, and continue to sign the executables with existing but new ConnectWise key. Option 2, remove all customization from the signed code temporarily and continue to sign the code using the existing but new ConnectWise key in order to keep us all functional while you work out the next steps. So I appreciate that ConnectWise have definitely had the work cut out for them with this. So Broker Siege has said, neither of those things solve the problem. The problem is threat actors back in 2018 figured out how to crack the licensed DLLs for ScreenConnect, which effectively neutralized the kill switch ConnectWise has built into the platform. So they could then use those cracked, albeit old instances to deliver malware to machines via the signed ScreenConnect executables they could generate. ConnectWise can't remotely kill those rogue instances, since their only mechanism to do so is revoking the license. The ScreenConnect installers have the ability to execute commands and automations after being RAM. Threat actors have been configuring those executables, wow, can't say that, those executables generated from cracked instances to deliver malware, Trojan horse style, since the executable itself is signed with a valid certificate, or was before the revocation. So their only option was to revoke the code sign insert to permanently disable the ability for those rogue instances to continue to generate executables that could bypass the detection. Now, the problem is that the flaw still exists in the platform and probably requires some kind of massive re-engineering effort that they aren't willing to undertake to fix. Or it will take considerable time to do so. By requiring on-premise customers to sign their own installers, they are compartmentalizing any future exploitation of their on-prem licensing. If a threat actor uses their own certificate to sign executables at harboring malware, excuse me, then they just contact the certificate authority and get it revoked. So are they greedy to want to move you to the cloud? Absolutely, they are still evil ConnectWise, through and through. Is that the primary drive here, the whole cert fiasco? Absolutely not. Don't attribute malice to what can more easily attributed to incompetence. The product is so easy to exploit, and they've known about it and not fixed it for so long that their CA is basically forcing them to revoke their certificate to stop the insane amount of malware their product is being used to spread throughout the world. That's the real story. ConnectWise will not publicly state this because it is pretty much the worst possible PR for them. So that's completely their opinions and not mine. Right, so what do you need to do? We've got this far. The certificate revocation deadline has expired. So what do you need to do to get the fix working? How do you install the certificate and how do you apply it? Let's take a look at that. Just before I do dive into the what you need to do next, all the information that you could want on this is on Reddit, and quite a few of the Reddit users have been actually quite helpful to help other ScreenConnect users out. But you can see version 25.4.25 still not available on cloud. Pretty sure Cocktails has got nothing to do with it. You've had 2 weeks, so there's plenty of complaining on here. With people asking, will the certificate from here be good? A host does not apply app after Azure certificates. There's been loads of people having problems with certificates. The report data manager has been cleared. Been in chat support for 5 hours. We are down, ScreenConnect Cloud, no action, still okay. So Sentinel-1 alerts quarantines for randomized.exe files in your csys temp ScreenConnect folder. So there's the issue Sentinel-1. It's not a Sentinel-1 issue. Sentinel-1's actually doing its job. So people talk about how's your migration to the cloud going. People wanting to bring the branding back. If you're out of maintenance, you must be back into maintenance to be able to use the plugin. New instances not creating. So there's a lot of information on the Reddit /r/ScreenConnect. And it's all down to anyone using SSL.com for EV code signing certificates. Issues after adding Azure HSM. Now this, let me show you this. So this error is a common one after you actually perform the, once you've installed the certificate. Server error in /application. And this is the, an application occurred, the custom error settings prevent details from being viewed remotely. Now, if you was to try and run the support session from the server that ScreenConnect is installed on, it does tell you. So obviously for security reasons, it's not going to display the details of the error message, but it does say it could, however, be viewed by a browser running on the local machine that your ScreenConnect server is installed on. And one of the issues I had with this was it coming up saying basically the ScreenConnect binary was missing. And they kind of all related. And got these errors, and it's usually like the binary missing. And again, this is down to Sentinel-1 or whatever antivirus software you're using, detecting the binary is malicious, removing it, quarantining it, deleting it, whatever. So there's a lot of information on here. Can't download the exe file, MSI after on-prem installation. Now, one of the other things that I will note, if you go onto ScreenConnect.com now and you try and download it, there used to be a list of installers that you could download, but now you can't just download the latest version. You have to click Access Downloads. So what you'll need to do is obviously click Enter Licenses, paste your license key into here, and then once you've done that, basically gives you the option to add your extra licenses or whatever you want, calculate whatever you want. If you scroll further down under stable releases, we can now see all the latest ScreenConnect releases. The latest one as of today, which is the 8th of the 7th, is the 2nd of the 7th. Sorry, this is American dates reverse, man. So as of the 8th of the 7th, the last one is from the 2nd of the 7th that you can download. So that's the one that you're going to want to download to upgrade your on-premise installation. Now, unfortunately, you're going to have to, if you're running on a virtual machine, it's ideal because you can take a snapshot, back your existing installation up just in case, and then you can install 25.4.25. Once you've done that, you'll then be able to download the sign-in plugin, which only works with 25.4.25, I believe. I'll leave as many links as I can below, but this is the extension that you're going to need to install within ScreenConnect called Certificate Sign-In. So the Certificate Sign extension allows an administrator to sign the Windows Access Agent installers with their own trusted code signing certificate or with self-signed certificate. So this extension requires ScreenConnect version 2025.4.25 or above. Adding a code signing certificate can help prevent endpoint protection from flagging ScreenConnect Windows installers from being an unidentified developer and result in less friction. So you're going to need to install this from the marketplace. So it shows you're going to admin, and then once you've installed it, go to certificate sign-in. You'll need to configure Azure. So what it does is, where is it? Okay, so you can install a custom certificate. You probably want to stay away from this because you don't really want a self-signed one. So if we go to add a code signing certificate with Azure Key Vault. Right, adding a code signing certificate with the Azure Key Vault. So if you don't have a Microsoft account, unfortunately, you're probably going to need to create one. So with the release of ScreenConnect 25.4.x and 1.04, the certificate sign extension that we just looked at, we now support Microsoft Azure Key Vault to manage code signing certificates. And this page describes how to set it up, create the certificate signing request, add a code signing certificate to your on-premises installation. So requirements. Again, ScreenConnect 25.4.25 or above to install the extension. It doesn't work with anything below. The certificate signing extension needs to be on version 1.0.4 or above. So required services, Azure, if you're not already a customer. The Key Vault Premium tier, so not the basic one. You need the premium one in order to use HSM certificates. And then it goes through, if you don't have an account, sign up, and it's got the link to Azure there. Create a new resource from the Azure portal. Search for the Key Vault, select the Key Vault, select Create. So basically, create a new Key Vault. Welcome to Azure Key Vault. And then you might need to click the Key Vault again from the portal. So once you've created the Key Vault, click Create again. Enter the configuration details about the new Key Vault. So subscription. To generate RSM and HSM keys, which is required for most certificate authorities, you must select premium. So you need the premium subscription, not the basic tier. And I'll look at that in a second. Resource group, you can basically assign whatever resource group you want to create a new one. A Key Vault name, region, pricing tier, and the days to retain deleted vaults. And it basically walks through, I'll leave the link to the ConnectWise University. But it basically walks through how to create it, and it's got examples. So it's subscription, obviously, once you've activated your Azure subscription, and choose that, choose a resource group or create a new one. I'd advise create a new one. Instance details, region, so where you want the certificate stored, and the pricing. And this is the important part. Premium includes support for HSM back keys. And then when you create it, we've got Azure subscription, Key Vault names. You've got the overview there. Soft delete enabled, purge protection disabled, and days to retain deleted vaults 90. So that's just the defaults. And then you've got Azure virtual machines for deployment disabled, for access configuration, resource manager disabled, disk encryption disabled, and permission model. And you want this set to role based. So then after you've created the Key Vault in your deployment settings, you see your deployment is complete. From here, you need to procure a code signing certificate. So navigate to your newly created vault. Which is, and then you want to go down to certificates. Then click on generate and import. Enter the information, and it's got examples here. I'm pretty sure this is copied from Microsoft. And then you want CN, pretty much equals organization name. So for us, it'll be like Sheridan Computers, for example. The certificate name is just basically for reference. The certificate authority type needs to be a certificate issued by non-integrated CA. DNS names not applicable. Validity period in months, and so however long your certificate is valid for. Concept type, lifetime action, advanced policy configuration. Now you need to make sure that you add this in. It's not in by default, I don't believe, so you need to add that in as well. Reuse key on renewal, no. Export private key. This needs to be set to no. This exportable private key. If you don't set it to no, then you won't see the RSA HSM that you need to recreate the vault. And then make sure you set the key size to 4096. Enable certificate transparency. You can just set that to no. And it's got an example here. So you need to add these extended key uses in. So make sure that they cover these. Set reuse key button, you'll no. Export key. I say this piece has been no. If you set this to a yes, then this RSA HSM option won't appear. And again, set it to 4096 for the key size. Enable certificate transparency should be no. And then you'll need to retrieve the certificate signing request. So click on it, go to certificate options, and then you want to download CSR. So when you download your CSR, then you'll need to submit that to your certificate authority. And I'll show you which one I used in a second. So once you've downloaded it, go with whoever you're going to use to create. I use cheapsslsecurity.com. There's no sponsorship here. It's just who I used and it worked. So once you've submitted your CSR to your certificate authority, log in. You need to complete all the agreement stuff, wait for the certificate to be sent to you, usually in an email. Download your certificate, and then you go back into your vault. So go to Object, Certificate, Show Name, click Certificate Operation. This time you need to select Merge Signed Request, as this shows here. Now once you click Merge Signed Request, you need to upload the certificate that was sent to you by the certificate authority, and then it should be fine. So once you've done that, then you can install the certificate signing extension, and then you're going to need Azure Tenant ID, Azure Client ID, Azure Client Secret, and the code signer URI. If you haven't used Entra, you'll need to set up a new registration app and create a new secret. Again, I'll leave the link to this below, and this walks through how to do it. And it's showing you where to get the details from, basically. So you need your Azure Tenant ID, which is this here. You need your Azure Client ID, this bit here. You need your secret. Now, on the secret bit here, Client Secrets, make sure you copy the value, not this field here, which is the secret ID. You want the actual secret value, so you need to copy this field here, not this one. And you can find the certificate you added, click on its name, and you'll find the identifier. So, certificate identifier. Now, once you've done that, you can ignore this. This is access policies. You want to use a role-based access control. That's the one that I've found it to work with. If you are going to use access policies, then basically you need to set encrypt, decrypt, unwrap key, verify, and sign. And then it shows to log into your ScreenConnect instance, navigate to administration, certificate sign-in, and click on configure as your certificate. And then the information that was collected above, you'll need to put in here. So tenant ID, client ID, secret, and the signer URI. Then when you click on review results, you should see something that appears like this. And it's got troubleshooting tips as well. So I will leave the instructions, the links in the description below. To get started, you're going to want to go over to entra.microsoft.com. You then want to go down to applications and app registrations. Click new registration. Give it a name, so CW app registration, for example. It's a bit bigger so you can see it. Supported account types. So you want the first option, accounts in this organization directory, a single tenant. The redirect URI you can leave for now and just hit register. And once you've done that, that's your app created. So you've got your application ID here. Now, what we're going to need to do is go into certificates and secrets. Then you want new client secret. So putting the name for this secret. So SC client secret. Recommended. I'm going to leave that on 180 days. 365 days. Depends on the length you want your app to last. And then click add. Now, once you've clicked add, so you've got the description here, and then you've got this value. Now, as I mentioned previously, this is the one you want to copy to clipboard, this value. You don't want to copy the secret ID, you want to copy this value. Now, once you've done that, that's pretty much your app created. Once we've created our registration application, you're going to need to go over to portal.azure.com. Then we need to go and create a resource, so we need to create the Key Vault. So I'll just search for Key Vault. And we need to make sure that we get this Key Vault, not this Azure Key Vault managed HSM, because that will put your bills through the roof. It has a charge of about 80 quid a month or something. So we just want this normal Key Vault one. So go ahead and click Create Key Vault. So you need to set your subscription. If you've not got an Azure subscription, you need to create one. Resource group, you can just create another one. So I'll just YTKV. So I'll just create what you want and then give it a name. So I'm going to put CWYT Vault. Choose your location. So I'm going to go UK North. Oh, sorry, UAE North. UK North. Doesn't have a UK North. So we'll go UK South. So I'll just choose a region close to you. This pricing tier. So this is the important bit, and this is what I'm saying. This needs to be set to premium. And if we drop this down, it says premium includes support for HSM backed keys. If you leave it on standard, it's not going to work because it doesn't support HSM keys. And this is the option that we need. So this needs to be set to premium. Then we can go and review and create. So create. Now it says initializing deployment, submitting deployment. Deployment to resource group YT-KB is in process. So wait for that to deploy. So once it's deployed, you need to go to the resource. It disappeared. Go to the resource. So this will take us into our Key Vault. So you can see we've got the resource group, the Vault URI, directory ID, and subscription ID, and all that business here. So what we're going to want to do first is go into access control. So IAM here. We're going to need to add some roles. Now, in order to do this, you're going to need to add whichever user you logged in as. You're going to have to assign Key Vault Administrator role. So I'll go to Add Role Assignment. And then we want Key Vault Administrator. And you need to assign this to yourself. If you don't assign this to yourself, the user you logged in as, you're not going to be able to create the certificate. It'll throw up an error. So user group principal. Select your user. And then hit next. Just make sure everything looks all right, which it does. So it's fine. Review and assign. Now, in order for our to access our registration app, we're going to need to add some roles there as well. So we might as well do that now. And the roles we're going to need to assign, if we go back to Add Role Assignment, I'll start with Key Vault. So if you type in Key Vault, and we're going to need to assign certificate user, crypto service encryption user, crypto user, and secrets user here. So let's do the first one. So Key Vault certificate user. So we're going to select that. We're going to next. Select members. Now, when you hit select members, your app is not going to appear until you type it in. So select members. I'll type the initial starting character of the app so you can see we have CW app registration test. I'm going to select that. So we've got the role as Key Vault certificate user. Next to that, review and assign. Now we just need to do the same for the other ones. So we're going to do it again for the other three, add role assignment. And this time we want Key Vault encryption user, service encryption user, this one here. So Key Vault service encryption user, select members. Again, select your registration application. Review and assign. Yep, looks good. The others. Yeah. So this time we want crypto user. So the Key Vault crypto user. Select members. And select your member. Review and assign. So we've got crypto user. There we go. And the final one that we need to add is the secrets user. So Key Vault secret user. Again, select members. Make sure you select your registration app. Select. Review and assign. And that should be our permissions created. So with that, if we check role assignments, so you can see I've got Key Vault Administrator to allow in order to create certificates and mess about. And the app has Key Vault Certificate User, Key Vault Crypto Service Encryption User, Key Vault Crypto User, and Key Vault Secrets User. So these are the ones that you need to make sure that you have access to. With that, we can go ahead and create our certificate. So we go into certificates. Now, if you didn't assign yourself the Key Vault Administrator, this is what I was talking about. This is the bit that will fail if you don't assign it. So generate an import. Someone wants to generate. So certificate name, YTCW cert, just call it what you want. This type of authority, we need to change this to non-integrated CA and then put your company name in here for the subject. And if you are a company, then it needs to be your full name. So like Sheridan Computers, my legal name. You've got your validity, DNS names you can ignore. Content type of PKCS 12, that's fine. This advanced policy we also need to configure. So we're going to go to not configured. Now this extended key usage is missing one, and it's listed on the university page that I'll leave a link in the description. So we need to copy this 1.3.6.1.5.5.7.3.3. Copy that. And we're just going to put a trailing comma, and then we'll paste that in. So make sure this extended key is in there. So reuse on renewal, no. Export private key. This needs to be set to no. So you can see key type. We have RSA and EC. We need RSA plus HSM. So click no. And then you can see that this option now appears. And that's just a security option because of a security feature. You don't want the private key exportable. So now select that. So 4096. And enable transparency. No, you can read more about that there if you want. Okay. You can go ahead and create the certificate. Once you've got the certificate, so you'll notice it says disabled. Now we've got the date set to 7th of the 8th, 2026, so 12 months from now. But this is just a certificate signing request. We now need the certificate. So if we click on that, certificate operation, and we can do download CSR. So download the certificate operation, download, and then you need to go and apply the certificate, get the certificate. Once you've actually got the certificate back, then you just click merge sign request, and then select the certificate that you've got, upload it, and that's it. And this will show as enabled. Okay, so we can revert back to the ConnectWise University from here. But where do you get your certificate from? Well, I got mine from cheapsslsecurity.com. So cheapsslsecurity.com. So this is not sponsored by them in any way whatsoever. This is just where I got a certificate from. So we want goods of products, code signing certificates. And now the one that I used is this fast code signing certificate. So domain plus business basic business. So it takes 0 to 3 days to be issued. And it's $129 a year. So this one works absolutely fine. And it's issued by DigiCert. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with this. Now you don't need to do the extended validation one. Just use the standard one. Select your quantity as 1. Certificate delivery message. You want install on existing HSM. So make sure you choose this. You need to choose this one. And then when you add it to your cart and you buy it, they will send it you via email. And then you can, once you've got the certificate back, you can just do a merge certificate as I've shown you previously, which is also stated on the ConnectWise University page. So that's the cheapest way of doing it, $129 a year. That also gives the advantage. You can sign anything with it, not just ScreenConnect. There's an Azure signing tool that you can use. And that will basically, if you're programming yourself scripts or whatever, you can sign them as well. So that's always handy to have. Right, so once you've got your certificate, you're going to go back and you're going to merge it. So this is a generate import instructions, which I did. Once you've done that, you retrieve your CSI, so you download it, that's what we said. Then you go back into your certificate, go to certificate operations, and you want to merge the certificate. So merge signed request. And that will basically set your certificate to enabled. And then you need to go into ScreenConnect and install from the extension marketplace. You need to install the extension from the extensions page. And once you do that, you're going to need your Azure tenant ID, your client ID, client secret, and the code signing URI. So this tells you where to get the information here. So under your app registrations, you can see you've got your tenant ID there. So that was when we went into entra.microsoft.com. Get the app registration from there. Client ID, again from, that's what I was showing you previously. So under app registrations, you can get your client ID here. So got overview and grab this client ID. Once you've got that, you need to go into, that's when I said you need to copy this from here. So that's still from your registration app. And then get the code sign URI. So in this particular instance, you go into your certificates, click on the certificate, and then you'll get the certificate identifier, which is this part here. So you just need to copy that. And then once you've done that, paste your tenant ID into here, your Azure client ID, the secret, and that's pretty much it. And then you should show a valid certificate chain. So from in ScreenConnect, you want browse extension marketplace, and then just search for sign. And this is this certificate signing one that you want here. Once you've installed that, close that, go into certificate signing. Now you can see I've already done this. So that's done and it's set up for me, and you'll see that your certificate chain shows up here. This is because I've already configured it. What you're going to need to do is paste your tenant ID, your client ID, your secret, and your URI here, and then hit save. Then once you've done that, it'll refresh, and then you should get your certificate chain here. And that's pretty much all you need to do. So there is advantages of having your own certificate. You're probably wondering how much this is going to cost you. So let's take a look. And again, I'll leave a link to the pricing page below. So let's scroll down to the bottom. Where is it? Right, okay. HSM protected keys. So this is a bit that we want to look at. So it's going to cost you, for the first 250 keys, it's going to cost you $5 per key per month. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. And then you've got like $0.15 per 10,000 transactions. So this is the bit where I said that you want to be careful of, that you check the right box when you're choosing the key vault. So you just want the standard key vault. You don't want this managed HSM pool, because this is $3.20 an hour. So that's easy going to rack up if you leave it running. Obviously, you leave the key vault running at $3.20 an hour. That's certainly going to build up over a month. So just make sure that you've chosen the right vault, just a standard key vault, but it is set to premium, the one that allows you to use protected HSM keys. Then obviously you can just choose a region where you decided to store your data. Select the currency type. So for me, £3.64 per key per month. So it is going to be minimal. And then it's like 11 pence for 10,000 transactions. So just ensure that you're actually getting the right, you chose the right vault, and you haven't chose this thing, this managed HSM pool. Just be aware of that. So the costs really neither in or there, to be honest. Again, I'll leave the link to that so you can check that out yourself. If I do have any advice to give, when I did this, the only issue that I had, and I was getting that error that I pointed out, just a server error throwing up that I pointed out in the first part of the video when we were going through Reddit. And it was, if you try and access the support session from the server that ScreenConnect is installed on, it will show you the error. If you access it remotely for security reasons, it won't. So the only issue I had was Sentinel-1 deleting the ScreenConnect binaries. I disabled Sentinel-1, updated the software, and then enabled it again. And that's pretty much it. And that seems to be the biggest problem most people have had. If you did find this video useful, hit the like button, consider subscribing to the channel. If you know people that are struggling with on-prem ScreenConnect, forward them this link, and hopefully it'll help them too. I'll see you in the next video.